podcast where truth moves faster than a Holstein calf. No waiting on some pretty page. We're charting new ground in the digital age. From genomic codes to row-wide facts, we cut through the noise, no holding back. Not your daddy's dairy news tonight. We're sparking debates with every insight. The ring's not where the real fight's at. It's in the data, in the channel chat. From pasture to processor to your morning cup, we're raising the stakes. Try and get ahead of herd. Yeah! Where the future's more than just a word. Ahead of herd. Come on! The bullvine's calling, let your voice be heard.
Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, where we dive deep into the latest trends, technologies, and strategies shaping competitive dairy farming worldwide. I'm your host, and today we're exploring the UK's game-changing approach to sex semen adoption, how they hit a staggering 84%, while the rest of us are still playing 50-50 roulette with calf gender. Stick around as we break down the numbers, the policy shifts, and the practical insights every progressive dairy farmer should hear. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Bullvine Podcast, the show that digs deep into the topics that matter to dairy producers.
That's right. Today, we're tackling a really interesting feature article from the Bullvine that's got everyone talking. We're going to break it all down.
We certainly are. This deep dive is all about the UK's genetic gambit, dairy profitability through precision breeding. And it really reveals how the UK seems to have completely redefined the global benchmark in dairy genetics.
Moving, as the article puts it, from something like a 50-50 gamble, well, into a precise science.
Yeah, it's quite an eye-opening look at what's truly possible when an entire system aligns, isn't it?
Absolutely. Policy, market, technology, all pushing the same way.
Okay, let's unpack this phenomenal shift then. The central, almost jaw-dropping statistic that kicks off this whole discussion is the UK's adoption rate of sexed semen.
Right, huge.
The article highlights that in the 12 months leading up to April 2024, an astonishing 84% of all dairy semen sales in the UK were, in fact, sexed semen.
84%. Just think about that number for a second.
It's not just a trend, it's near total strategic saturation. And this figure, it represents a really rapid acceleration, up from 70.5% in 2022, 76% in 2023.
So a big jump just in the last year or two.
Exactly. And if you look specifically at the dominant Holstein breed, that number climbs even higher, hitting, 88, 89%?
Incredible. For your herd, I mean, that kind of precision in getting replacement heifers, it's truly revolutionary.
It is. And, when you see a number like 84%, it's not just a marginal increase. It's a complete transformation, really.
Totally. What truly stands out here isn't just that they reached this level, it's how quickly they managed it. And just how far ahead that puts them compared to, everyone else globally.
Right. When you start comparing that 84% to other major dairy nations, the lead isn't just a few points.
No, it's measured in multiples. It almost feels like they're playing a different game entirely.
Absolutely. And those comparisons are really key to putting the UK's achievement into perspective, right?
Definitely.
Let's take the United States, for instance. Huge dairy sector, very productive.
World leader in many ways.
The U.S. reports that gender-selected semen now accounts for, 61% of dairy units used by its producers in 2024?
Okay, 61%. That's a substantial number, no doubt. A mature market using the tech.
It is. But the article really emphasizes a crucial distinction, the way this adoption happened.
Right. Not just the what, but the how.
Exactly. In the U.S., it's been much more fragmented, sort of a bottom-up process.
Driven by individual farm economics, mostly.
Precisely. Individual farm decisions, regional market dynamics. You see really progressive producers making excellent use of sexed semen because, it makes financial sense for their specific operation.
Sure, makes sense.
But there isn't that overarching cohesive national policy or that broad supply chain push that we've seen develop in the UK.
So it's successful adoption, but it's not really a system-wide integrated strategy.
That's such an important differentiation, I think. It highlights the contrast between, lots of individual successes and a truly coordinated system-wide overhaul.
Yeah. In the U.S., you've got countless producers who are incredibly savvy with sex semen, optimizing their breeding programs for what they need. But the broader incentives, the regulatory pressures, they just aren't aligned in quite the same way to make it a strategic must for every farm everywhere.
And then you look over at New Zealand, Global powerhouse, pasture-based system.
Very different model again.
And here, the story is starkly different, isn't it? They lag considerably.
Yeah, the numbers are tiny in comparison.
Data from a major genetics supplier, CRV, they're a big global co-op, revealed that as of September 2024, sexed semen was just 4.8% of its total dairy semen sales in New Zealand.
Wow, 4.8% compared to 84%. That's incredibly low.
It is, and the article points out this is a direct consequence of a totally different system constraint, that incredibly intense, compressed seasonal breeding window they have.
Right. Everything hinges on getting cows and calf in a very short period.
Exactly. So for New Zealand farmers, any perceived risk to conception rates in that tight time frame, well, it historically outweighed the potential benefits of gender selection.
Risk aversion becomes paramount there. Understandably so.
Although it's worth noting, the article does mention signs of change. Another supplier, LIC Livestock Improvement Corporation, is apparently preparing to double its inseminations with fresh sexed semen.
Ah, fresh product.
Yep.
That makes sense for their system. Potentially less of a conception rate hit than frozen sometimes has.
Right, so it signals a sector maybe on the cusp of change, but still they're operating years behind the UK's fully integrated model.
It's a classic example, isn't it? How local conditions and those primary system constraints really dictate the pace of technology adoption.
Absolutely.
For New Zealand, with the entire national herd needing to be bred in, 6 to 8 weeks, to align calving with peak grass growth.
The pressure is immense.
Yeah. Achieving the highest possible conception rate fastest is absolutely critical. Imagine a small drop in conception rates from using, say, frozen sexed semen.
Catastrophic.
Exactly. It could throw off their whole annual cycle. Fewer calves, less milk, big financial hit. So while the tech's available, their system makes them naturally cautious, hence the focus on fresh products.
Makes perfect sense. And we can't overlook Canada either in this global picture.
Right. Where do they sit?
Well, adoption in Canada, the article suggests, is still kind of in a developmental stage. Data from 2023 showed sexed semen use for Holsteins, their main breed, hit 18%.
Okay, 18%. So up significantly from a decade ago, but still quite a way behind the U.S., let alone the U.K.
Definitely showing clear progress, up from just 2% in 2013. And the strategic use of beef on dairy is growing there too. But the overall integration into a truly unified national strategy, it's just far less mature than the system operating in the UK now.
So you can really see this huge gap isn't just chance or lack of tech access. It's a direct result of the UK managing to create this powerful confluence of forces, policy, market, technology, all aligning to make sexed semen adoption not just an option, but an economic necessity for most.
That 84% adoption rate really speaks to that system coherence. But here's the critical point the article drives home, isn't it?
Yeah.
The UK's success story, you can't understand it just by looking at sexed semen alone. It's only one half of the strategy.
Oh, absolutely. This is the other half of the equation, as the article calls it. So important.
It's inextricably linked to a parallel revolution, the massive rise of beef semen usage on dairy farms.
Get this, for the very first time in UK history, sales of beef semen to the dairy herd, at 52% of total semen sales, have actually surpassed sales of dairy semen.
52%, that's not just a secondary trend, is it?
No way. It's the indispensable other half of the UK's genetic gambit, a true dual-pronged approach.
That's the very crux of it. The high adoption of sex semen is only really economically viable at that scale because a profitable, scalable solution exists for the cows not picked for dairy replacement.
Exactly. Think about it from your perspective as a listener. If you're getting 89–91% female calves from your top cows using sex semen, you suddenly have way fewer purebred male dairy calves. But you still have the other cows to breed, without a solid, high-value market for those other calves.
You just recreate the problem of low-value animals.
Precisely. You need something to do with the pregnancies from the cows not making replacements. The robust, high-value beef on dairy market provides that critical economic outlet.
Turning a liability into a revenue stream.
Absolutely. Converting what was maybe a low-value male calf or just another heifer you didn't necessarily need into a significant secondary income. This then de-risks and basically subsidizes the higher upfront cost of the precision sex semen program.
It all fits together.
Without this integrated breed and beef strategy, UK farmers would have just swapped one challenge for another. This dual approach, sex semen for elites, beef semen for value-added crosses, is the core economic engine.
A complete overhaul in thinking, really. Moving from just milk production to optimizing every single calf born.
Yeah, whether it's for the dairy herd or the beef supply chain, maximum value from every pregnancy.
Okay, so this sets the stage beautifully. We know what they've achieved, this two-pronged strategy. That leads us to the next big question. How? How did they actually do it?
Right, because 84% doesn't happen by accident.
The article points out this leap wasn't down to a single innovation, no silver bullet. It was a powerful convergence. 3 distinct but mutually reinforcing external forces.
Like a perfect storm, kind of. Incentives and pressures all hitting at once.
Exactly. It completely reshaped the dairy landscape there, making this radical shift not just attractive, but almost, well, unavoidable.
And this is where the story gets really compelling, I think, because it shows it's not just about having the tech. It's about the entire ecosystem around it. These drivers fundamentally change the on-farm economic calculation for producers like you.
Making precision genetics an imperative, not just an option.
Yeah. Farmers weren't just thinking, oh, this might be nice. They were being pushed and pulled by these really powerful forces.
Okay, let's start with the first one, the export lockout, a huge policy catalyst.
Right, the big legislative change.
The key policy here is the Animal Welfare Livestock Exports Act. It got royal assent in May 2024. Took effect July 2024.
And what did it do exactly?
It introduced a comprehensive ban on the live export of cattle, sheep, and other livestock from Great Britain for the specific purposes of fattening and slaughter.
Okay, so targeting that trade in young calves going to continental veal systems.
Precisely. The ripple effect was immense. It effectively slammed the door on a trade that saw, for decades, tens of thousands of surplus male dairy calves making those long journeys.
Yeah, you're talking 20,000 plus male calves exported annually, many just weeks old. Welfare concerns, economic leakage.
Right. By removing that out-of-sight, out-of-mind option, the act forced the entire dairy value chain, farmers, processors, retailers, to confront the ethical and economic challenge of those surplus calves head-on.
A definite push factor, compelling the industry to find sustainable domestic solutions, no longer someone else's problem.
It's important to stress the nuance here, though, as the article points out. It wasn't a blanket ban on all livestock exports.
Ah, okay. Important distinction.
Yeah, it was carefully crafted to distinguish between exports for fattening slaughter and those for breeding purposes.
So the vital trade in elite genetics wasn't harmed.
Exactly. That was a key clarification the industry sought. So it was a precisely targeted policy, creating a problem that demanded a new, innovative solution rather than stifling legitimate trade.
Got it. A surgical strike, forcing a change in how low-value calves were managed without undermining the breeding sector itself.
Which leads us seamlessly to the second force, the carbon contract. Turning methane into money, essentially.
Sustainability hitting the balance sheet.
For decades, sustainability was often just reports, CSR statements, conferences.
Talk, but maybe not direct financial impact.
In the UK, it moved decisively and rapidly onto the actual farm balance sheet. Major milk processors, retailers. They didn't just talk carbon, they integrated carbon accounting directly into milk pricing contracts.
Creating real financial rewards for efficiency.
Yeah.
And penalties for inefficiency.
Exactly. This fundamentally altered the economic status of that surplus male dairy calf. It went from being just a low-value byproduct
to being a direct liability.
Pretty much, a source of methane emissions with negligible economic return that actively hurt your bottom line via these contracts.
Wow. That's a profound shift in perspective for farmers. Moving sustainability from abstract concept to, well, your monthly milk check.
Totally. And the article gives great examples. Arla Foods, the big European co-op, they developed their Farm Ahead incentive model.
How does that work?
It's point-based. Directly rewards farmer owners for activities that demonstrably cut their carbon footprint and boost biodiversity.
So tangible rewards for specific actions.
Yeah. You can earn up to 3 eurocents per kilo of milk for hitting targets, plus a baseline 1 eurocent just for submitting your climate data.
And breeding fewer, more targeted replacements, eliminating surplus males. That helps your score.
Directly. Improves your score, increases your milk check. An immediate, tangible financial incentive.
That's a brilliant mechanism. Tying sustainability directly to profitability. You're not just cutting emissions for the planet. You're doing it because it pays.
Yeah.
Strongest motivator there is, right?
Absolutely. And it wasn't just Arla. Tesco, the UK's biggest supermarket chain, they embedded sustainability incentives through their Tesco Sustainable Dairy Group, the TSDG landmark move, effective September 2025. Their TSDG farmers supplying fresh milk via Miller UK became eligible for an additional payment of up to 2.5 pence per liter.
And that's tied to?
Explicitly tied to KPIs in emissions reduction, animal health, feed conversion efficiency, and crucially for us, genetic improvements.
So the system literally pays farmers to adopt sexed semen and beef strategies.
Effectively, yes. It pays them to eliminate that source of inefficiency and generate high-value calves.
Okay, so you've got the push from the export ban, creating the need for change, and the pull from these carbon contracts, offering financial incentives for that change.
Yeah.
What was the third driver?
The third, equally powerful driver, the beef premium engine. All about monetizing the other half of the herd.
Making the beef cross calves really worth something.
This provided the crucial economic engine that made widespread use of more expensive sexed semen not just feasible, but actually highly lucrative. Remember that 52% beef semen figure?
Yeah. It represents a fundamental shift in breeding objectives. Optimize every calf.
And the value proposition for farmers. It's stark, not just a few quid extra. It's a game changer.
How much difference are we talking?
An analysis by AHDB, the UK's Ag and Hort Development Board, looked at auction prices from 2015-2020. A purebred Friesian Holstein bull calf averaged just 40 pounds a head.
Okay, 40 pounds. Pretty low value.
In striking contrast, a Hereford cross bull calf from a dairy dam averaged 157.
Wow, nearly 4 times as much.
And a Continental Cross, think British Blue Limousin, averaged 217 stores per head.
Over 5 times the value of the purebred dairy bull.
Exactly. That creates an overwhelming economic incentive to switch breeding strategies. It becomes almost illogical not to use beef semen on the right cows.
You'd be leaving serious money on the table otherwise.
And it's not just the individual calf price. This shift has had a ripple effect, profoundly impacting the wider UK beef industry.
How so?
The increase in dairy beef animals' beef-sired calves from dairy cows is actively reshaping the beef supply chain. It's leading to leaner carcasses, which apparently better meet modern consumer tastes.
Interesting. So the market actually wants these animals.
It seems so. By 2024, animals from the dairy herd made up 47% of all calf registrations destined for the beef supply chain.
Nearly half. That's huge integration.
Yeah, with beef-sired calves from dairy dams making up 44% of total registrations to beef sires. This deep integration ensures a stable, receptive market for these beef cross calves.
So it solidifies the economics of the breed and beef model, makes it truly sustainable revenue stream for dairy farmers.
Which creates what the article calls a virtuous self-funding loop.
Explain that.
The significant extra profit from selling a high-value beef cross calf that 170-pound-plus uplift compared to the purebred dairy bull more than covers the premium cost of using a sexed semen straw on an elite cow.
So the beef pays for the precision dairy breeding.
Right. And then it gets amplified further by potential carbon-linked milk price bonuses for efficiency. It creates this self-sustaining cycle that dramatically lowered the financial barrier to entry for sexed semen.
Propelling the UK to that 84% adoption rate, a perfect illustration of how policy, market forces, and technology can align.
So while these powerful policy and market incentives created the demand, we can't ignore the technology itself, can we?
No, absolutely not. The ultimate enabler of this mass adoption was the tech maturing.
For years, that significant fertility penalty made sexed semen just too risky for most commercial operations.
Right. The UK's strategic shift was only possible because that critical performance gap was effectively closed.
That was the main historical barrier, wasn't it? If you, listening, tried early sexed semen and were disappointed, well, you weren't alone.
Definitely not. Early generation products, while they selected gender okay, were notoriously fragile.
The sorting process itself could damage sperm cells.
Yeah, separating X from Y chromosomes could reduce viability, longevity in the cow's reproductive tract. This often meant conception rates 15–20% lower, sometimes even 30% lower than conventional unsorted semen.
And for a dairy business where fertility is king, that performance gap was just an unacceptable economic risk, made widespread adoption a non-starter.
Exactly.
So here's where the real breakthrough happened. The game changer was the development and commercialization of sex Ultra 4M technology.
Right, the next generation product. What made it different?
It directly addressed that core issue of sperm viability. 2 key things. First, a big increase in sperm concentration, doubling the dose from about 2.1 million to 4 million sperm cells per straw.
Okay, more sperm, more chances. Makes sense.
And second, crucial refinements in the sorting process itself, plus new proprietary media that better nourished and protected the sperm cells after sorting and thawing, maintained their integrity, their energy.
And the impact on performance did close that gap.
immediately and profoundly. It fundamentally altered the risk-reward calculation for farmers. Large-scale field trials in Ireland by Teagasc, their ag authority provided key independent validation.
What did they find?
These trials showed sexed ulterior 4M achieved mean conception rates that were 82% to 84% of conventional semen. For example, 50.2% conception for sexed versus 60.3% for conventional.
Okay, so still a slight reduction, but much, much closer, within a commercially acceptable range for well-managed herds.
Exactly. And subsequent refinements, better on-farm protocols, they've pushed this gap even further. Some reports say it can now match or even exceed 95–100% of conventional success rates under optimal management.
Wow. So basically eliminating the fertility penalty. That was the technical tipping point that unlocked mass adoption.
This newfound reliability fundamentally changed how farmers could use the tech, right?
Absolutely. No longer restricted to just the most fertile heifers where the stakes felt lower. Producers could confidently use it on high-performing lactating cows, too.
Transforming it from a niche defensive strategy
into a comprehensive, herd-wide genetic management tool.
Yeah.
This tech maturation was also critical in shifting the economic narrative.
How so?
The proposition wasn't just about defensively avoiding the small loss on a surplus bull calf anymore. It became an offensive strategy. Proactive value creation, generating two distinct, valuable revenue streams from every calf born.
And while things like CRISPR might promise 100% female offspring way down the line,
Yeah, that's still very much R&D. Years away, big regulatory hurdles, public acceptance questions.
so for the current market and the story we're looking at, the performance parity achieved by 4M tech remains the critical enabler of the UK's success.
It really arrived at the perfect moment to capitalize on those other converging forces, the policy push, the market pull.
So with all these powerful external forces driving change, the UK dairy industry obviously had to adapt significantly right there on the farm.
Execution is key.
The article calls this the on-farm playbook, and it really is a testament to some sophisticated execution, a shift from traditional husbandry to, well, data-driven precision production.
This is absolutely crucial because technology and incentives, however strong, are only as good as their on-farm application.
Right.
It raises that important question for you, the listener. What does this actually look like in practice on a UK farm? And how are they managing the potential pitfalls? Because it's not just about buying the semen.
No, it's about integrating it seamlessly into your whole operation. Breeding decisions, calf rearing, marketing, everything.
Exactly. And the dominant breeding model now used across the UK is this system of precise herd segmentation, often called a breed beef cull strategy.
Which is a radical departure from the old goal of trying to get a replacement from every cow, isn't it?
Totally. Instead, it treats different segments of the herd like distinct production lines, each with specific optimized outputs.
That's a fundamental shift in mindset for any dairy producer. So how does it typically work?
A common framework involves dividing the herd based on detailed genetic merit. The top 30–40% of females identified via genomics as elite for production, health, fertility. They get bred exclusively with female-sexed dairy semen, generating the next generation of top replacement heifers. Concentrates genetic progress right there.
Okay, so replacements only from the best. What about the rest?
The remaining 50–60% of the herd animals, still productive, but maybe not quite elite enough for dairy replacements, get bred to carefully selected beef sires, Angus, British Blue, etc.
Producing those high-value beef cross calves for that separate profitable market we talked about.
Precisely. And then finally, a small bottom-tier, genetically inferior, persistent health or fertility issues, they're removed from the breeding pool entirely. Culled.
So it's not just culling the worst, it's optimizing the entire herd's genetic contribution.
Exactly. And this whole process, it's far from guesswork. It's rigorously data-driven, precision at the forefront of every decision.
Which explains the surge in genomic testing adoption in the UK.
Absolutely. A direct consequence. In 2024 alone, new females getting genomic evaluation increased by a staggering 19%. Genomics gives farmers reliable predictions of genetic potential milk, health, fertility, even conformation at a very young age, long before they even milk.
Allowing for precise identification of that elite group for replacements.
Right. Industry tools like AHTB's Herd Genetic Report are central here, helping farmers rank their animals, execute the segmentation strategy with confidence.
What's really insightful here is how proactively they seem to be managing a legitimate long-term concern, the risk of genetic bottlenecks.
Yeah, that's a big one. Dr. Donna Berry at Teagasc, respected geneticist, raises valid concerns. If you generate all replacements from a smaller, elite group of sires, you could inadvertently speed up inbreeding, reduce genetic diversity, which is essential for long-term herd health, resilience, adaptability.
A very real threat needing proactive management from day one.
And the UK industry, through bodies like AHDB, hasn't ignored this. They actively promote tools and strategies to mitigate it.
Like what?
A key resource is an online inbreeding checker. Lets producers model potential matings, assess risk before deciding. A crucial safeguard.
Okay.
Plus, AHDB promotes using balanced breeding indexes, like the Profitable Lifetime Index, APLI, as the main tool for sire selection.
And APLI isn't just about milk yield, is it?
No, it's comprehensive. Incorporates health, welfare, fertility traits, production, even environmental metrics. Encourages well-rounded animals, discourages over-reliance on a few extreme production sires, promotes a diverse genetic base.
There are others too, right? Like SESTI and ACI for spring and autumn calving?
Exactly, all designed with diversity in mind. But here's where the integrated system really shines as an elegant solution to this risk.
Go on.
An often overlooked but powerful mitigator is actually embedded within the breed beef cull model itself.
How so?
The fact that over half the national dairy herds inseminations now use beef semen acts as a powerful market-driven brake on potential dairy inbreeding.
Because you're diversifying a huge chunk of the breeding into totally different genetic streams.
Precisely. Instead of the entire reproductive capacity focusing solely on a small, intensely selected pool of dairy genetics, the majority is now diverting into various beef breeds, introducing new bloodlines systemically.
Reducing the overall selection pressure on any single dairy sire line.
Yeah, providing a structural safeguard against hyperconcentration of dairy genetics, a systemic solution to a systemic risk. You might have a split like, say, 40% sex dairy, 30% beef, 30% conventional from diverse dairy lines, ensures a healthy mix.
It's abundantly clear then, implementing this on such a scale isn't just plug and play.
Not at all. It demands high operational excellence, real attention to detail.
The technology, powerful as it is, won't fix underlying management problems. In fact,
It'll amplify their financial consequences. Exactly. So a rigorous assessment of operational readiness tailored to your farm is critical before jumping in.
what does that readiness look like? The article lays out a matrix, right?
It does, very clearly. First, non-negotiable. Fertility and herd health. Farms with underlying issues, nutrition, disease, metabolic stress will almost certainly see poor results with sex semen, an expensive failure.
So you need a high baseline conception rate with conventional semen first.
Ideally, yes. At least 65% is considered the ready threshold. If your herd struggles with conventional, sexed semen will likely make it worse.
Okay, what's next?
Heat detection and AI timing. This needs crucial precision. Sex-sorted sperm capacitate faster, get ready to fertilize quicker, but they also have a shorter viable lifespan in the cow's tract compared to conventional.
Narrowing the optimal window for insemination significantly.
Right. Best practice, according to Teagasc and others, is inseminating 14 to 20 hours after observed onset of standing heat. Achieving that precision consistently needs elite heat detection.
Whether that's intense visual observation or tech like pedometers, activity collars.
Exactly. Plus, highly skilled, diligent AI techs. They're looking for 85% plus accuracy for ready status, so you're not wasting premium genetics.
And scale and financial capacity also play a role.
They do. The economics of this integrated system, genomics, monitoring tech, premium semen, are usually most favorable at scale. Larger herds, maybe 200 cows plus, are generally better positioned to amortize those fixed costs and often have the financial resilience for the upfront investment before the returns kick in.
And finally, management and data systems.
Absolutely crucial. Effective use of genomic testing, consistent milk recording, advanced herd management software, all needed for making those informed, precise decisions about every animal.
And this isn't a change you rush into. The article notes successful UK farms took time.
Yeah, anywhere from 12 to 18 months to meticulously dial in their systems before scaling up confidently.
Starting small first.
Often, yeah. Maybe 20, 40 straws on selected proven animals. Build confidence, refine protocols, fine-tune management. It's a measured, strategic approach to what's essentially a farm-level revolution.
Okay. If we connect all this back to the bigger picture, it seems clear the varied adoption rates globally aren't just about tech access.
No, it's fundamentally about those differing national and regional system constraints. The UK Playbook isn't a copy-paste solution for your farm or country.
But more strategic framework, showing how to achieve this kind of transformation adapted locally.
Exactly. What's fascinating is understanding why other leading nations with the same tech have lagged so much?
Let's revisit the U.S. strong 61% adoption, impressive, but fragmented.
Right. Lacks that unifying push of a national policy like the UK export ban, or the widespread pull of standardized, processor-led carbon pricing schemes applying uniformly.
So adoption is highly variable, depends on regional beef prices, processor requirements, different production systems across the country. No single national imperative.
And New Zealand, as we discussed. That extreme seasonality defines their whole model.
The tight 6 to 8 week breeding window, high stakes.
Yeah. Highest possible conception rate, fastest, is paramount. Any tech introducing even a small risk is potential catastrophe for their annual cycle.
Explaining their historical reluctance with frozen sex semen, and the current focus on fresh products to mitigate that system-specific risk.
And Canada, again, unique scenario. Supply management creates different economic incentives than export-focused models.
Less pressure maybe to generate surplus heifers, tempering demand for sexed semen?
Potentially. Plus, trade frictions, particularly around beef market access with the UK, create a more complex dynamic for developing that robust beef-on-dairy market, a critical piece of the UK model that might be harder to replicate elsewhere due to external factors.
So the universal lesson seems clear. Success isn't just about making tech available.
No. It's about orchestrating an entire ecosystem that makes adoption the most logical, economically rational, and ultimately profitable choice for producers like you.
The UK Playbook isn't tactics to copy, but a strategic framework to adapt.
Right. So for leaders, policymakers, and you as a producer elsewhere, the path forward involved deliberately replicating that system alignment, but customized for your own circumstances.
Which means, as the article outlines, actively identifying and leveraging policy levers first.
Exactly. Find those unique national or regional drivers, environmental regs, animal welfare laws, trade policies that can act as a catalyst, create the push away from the status quo.
And then engineer market-based incentives, the pull factors.
Crucial. Private sector collaboration is key here. Processors, retailers, beef supply chain, working together on value-added contracts.
Like calf premiums, sustainability bonuses, preferential contracts.
Yes, things that create a clear financial advantage for those embracing the new model.
And finally, assessing and optimizing technological readiness, ensuring the tech fits your specific system.
Paramount. High-fertility frozen sexed semen works great for year-round systems like the US-UK, but intensely seasonal systems like NZ need that guaranteed conception rate performance, maybe favoring fresh products or future tech.
So in conclusion, the UK didn't just adopt tech, they engineered a whole new operating system for their dairy industry.
Pretty much. Set a new global benchmark for what's possible when genetic precision is at the heart of a competitive, sustainable, profitable dairy strategy.
For producers, processors, policymakers elsewhere, the evidence seems compelling.
The question isn't if this integrated model works, but how quickly you and your industry can adapt its core principles. The competitive window is narrowing.
Those who fail to build that coherent system risk being left behind. Precision is rapidly becoming the new price of entry, securing your future.
Well said.
So after exploring all that detail, what are the most important actionable insights from the UK's experience that you, a farmer listening today, can apply to your own operation?
That's a great question and absolutely essential. Okay, for you, the listener, here are the key takeaways from the UK Playbook for your farm. First, strategically lock in your replacements. Use sexed semen consistently on your top-tier genetically superior females. Get those female calves reliably.
Cuts replacement costs, boost genetic progress simultaneously.
Right. The UK gets 89–91% female calves this way. Predictable, high-quality supply. Second, trust the advanced technology. That SexLTR A4M tech, it's pretty much eliminated the old fertility penalty.
Yeah.
We're talking 82–84% relative conception rates, even higher, maybe 95–100% with top management.
So if you dismissed it before because of performance, time to reevaluate.
Definitely. Third, monetize your entire herd's output. Systematically use high-quality beef bulls on your middle-tier cows or culling candidates.
Because those beef cross calves fetch 2–3 times the value of purebred dairy bulls.
Exactly. Immediate, significant ROI. Creates that valuable secondary revenue stream, helps pay for the sexed semen on the elites. Fourth, get your foundational management in impeccable order. Before scaling up, your basics fertility, health, nutrition must be rock solid.
Because sex semen amplifies any existing management problems.
You got it. Aim for at least 85% heat detection accuracy. And remember, herd size, maybe 200+ cows, often makes the economics better due to amortizing fixed costs. Fifth, Actively manage for long-term genetic diversity. Don't create inbreeding issues while chasing elite genetics.
Rotate sires, use tools like inbreeding checkers, incorporate diverse beef genetics.
Use those balanced breeding indexes like PPLI. Prevent single trait selection, protect your herd's long-term health and resilience, just like AHDB recommends. And finally, plan methodically. Don't rush implementation.
Remember, those successful UK farms took 12-18 months to dial things in.
Right. This is a revolution for your farm management, not just a tweak. Start small, refine protocols, build confidence, then expand with a clear, thought-out plan.
Great points. Powerful insights for your farm, drawing directly from that UK success story.
Absolutely. And that's pretty much all the time we have for today's deep dive. For more insightful articles and cutting-edge industry information, be sure to visit www.thebulvine.com.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button wherever you get your deep dives. Thanks for listening.
That wraps up today's episode of the Bullvine Podcast. We hope you found our deep dive into the UK's sex semen strategy insightful and inspiring. Remember, success in dairy farming isn't about chasing fads. It's about smart, strategic decisions grounded in science and experience. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe for more cutting-edge dairy insights delivered straight to your ears. Until next time, keep striving and thriving on your farm. This is the Bullvine, signing off.